Good morning to a very beautiful morning on Lake Mac.
Very hot morning on Lake Mac.
So far, anyway.
Nonetheless.
What's our mission for today, honey?
I'm going to do a bit of a bait collecting mission. Try and get some garfish, maybe some squid, but April probably won't let me use them for bait.
You would have to get a lot of squid first. Yeah.
But we'll try and catch some garfish. I'll show you guys how we do that.
So what's step one, hun?
Step one is get the garfish behind the boat. So you need a burly trail for that. Bread's a good start. We've got some pellets and stuff there. I'll mix some of them up in a minute. But you don't want anything too big because they'll just eat it, fill up and won't take your bait.
What exactly are these pellets that you're using?
Just chicken pellets. So it's like plain pellets, and pretty much wheat based. And for garfish, you sort of want to wet them so they like break right down and it's really fine. For brim and stuff, you keep them whole and they'll eat them.
I see some little fish popping up in the burly trail there already. I don't know that they're gars, but...
Yeah, some of them are. We'll get them soaked. With a bit of tuna oil in there. I do want a semi-significant amount of tuna oil for garfish. Just because it puts like a film and burly on top that they can't really eat. And they'll come in and sniff it.
What's a semi-significant amount? Are you talking like a cup, a tablespoon?
Like 2 tablespoons and about that much burly.
Very good.
A good pour.
A good pour.
Cup the second pour.
And then what are you doing with this? Just chuck it in the water, or?
Pretty much. We'll also use it in one of our floats is a burly float. We'll also use this in that. I'll show you that in a minute.
What's our next step?
Now,
The side's not falling in the water. Sorry about that. That was my shoe.
that's not.
Try again.
So,
What's the next step?
our first rig is a quill float. 3 pound leader, can use 4 up to 6. Definitely fish there. About a foot a leader below your float. I like 2 hooks, not so much so you can catch 2 at a time, but if they steal your bait you've got a second chance. And on those, they're like a number 10-ish, tiny hook. Something with a little bit of a shank's easier to get it out of the gary too. And then just a tiny bit of prawn, just like enough to fill the end of your hook. That's probably even a little bit big, to be honest. That's not too big when they're not finicky, but if they're a bit finicky, like tiny amount. About that much. I do feel like a lot of those are brim, but anyway. And we just flick it out. And you'll see the float move kind of sideways. They'll never really take it under, they're not a huge fish. If it goes under quickly, it's probably a brim or a mullet.
Do you put the bail arm over, or you just leave it out unweighted?
No, just bail arm over and then you just watch your float. It'll start to move unnaturally, like sideways or away from you or towards you, and then you just wind slowly and lift the rod. I don't know if you can see that float. Garfish number 1.
And there you go. Now what are we getting the garfish for, honey?
Mainly bait. If we get some big ones, we might have a feed of them because they are quite good eating. Hang on, I'll get him unhooked down there. Click the live bait tank on, please.
So I've got the garfish. What do we do with the garfish?
So we are catching them for bait. We may have a feed of them if we get some bigger ones. But the tailor that we chase through winter, or autumn to winter, and we slow trawful them with gang hooks and stuff, and garfish is by far the best bait for that. They're heaps tougher than a pilchard. We also use them off the beach, same reason, significantly tougher than a pilchard.
The aim today is to stock up and get some cryovac in the freezer at home, ready for those winter months.
That's the plan.
So why do we need to do it now, not winter, if that's when we're going to be using them?
Because garfish aren't really a thing in winter, not in Lake Macquarie anyway. You might see the odd one, but there's heaps more in spring, summer and autumn. You do get them when you get the big tailor. There's lots of garfish around and that's what they're feeding on. You could directly get them then, but once it gets a bit colder they sort of disappear, but the tailor don't, and if you got them you're in a better position.
The other option, if you don't have a quill float or you just don't want to use a quill float,
these generally, well, if they're a little bit finicky, the burly floats work really good because they bring them right in. They pretty much don't have a choice but to eat the burly and your bait. But once your pellets have soaked up a bit of water, you'll be able to push them in. Yeah, nice and full. It's basically just a little cage that holds your burly. Once that's pretty full. Same rig, 2 hooks, little tiny hooks, little tiny bit of prawn. There is other baits you can use, little bits of pilchard are alright. Tiny bits of fresh bread. I've actually heard little tiny slices of apple works.
apple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is a bit of an odd one.
I don't have any apples in the boat today to test that theory.
Then same deal, just flick it out. And the garfish will do the same thing, they'll turn that float sideways. And then start winding and hook him, and it's pretty much that. But the garfish should come around that a lot more, obviously, because there's more food in it.
Unfortunately, in much the same way that you're going to be fishing for the gari, the little baby bream are going to be in your trail.
Yeah, it's not so baby.
It's not, hey? I don't know that you're getting it in on that rig, but...
I haven't done much.
I don't know. That is a decent bream, honey.
Yeah. What is he? 30 centimetres or so?
Ooh, no. You want me to net him?
I'll bring him up here, I'll just grab him back.
Okay.
Oh, he just pinned, eh?
On a tiny hook on a tiny bit of prawn. I've seen much smaller bream take much bigger bait.
Yeah. They're definitely getting your burly trail, but...
Yeah.
It's pretty much a sure thing if you're burly on a weed flat in Lake Macquarie.
It is. Alright, little bud, you know what we're after, so it's your lucky day. Ooh. I don't like to give you a big head, but that was a bit of talent getting a bream that size in on this particular setup.
Yeah, it's not as crazy. There's more out there, but it's not as crazy as it sounds. Like, it's the same leader we use for whiting and stuff.
I know,
there's
but
a garfish on your rod.
There's a little tiny baby hook on it.
There's a garfish on your rod.
Sorry.
Wind, he might still be there. He spun the float right around. No.
Try again. Okay, so that took us about 2 hours.
Yeah, give or take.
Give or take.
Probably Probably only an hour of hard fishing, but once the burly was going, they were pretty thick and fast.
Yeah. We've got ourselves a live bait tank full.
We're going to count them. We're definitely not at bag limit, but we're getting close enough that we need to count them. I reckon there's probably 30, about 20 each, so 40 in total. That will probably go close to, it's a good start to the year.
It is.
I reckon we go through. If you go on every second weekend chasing tailor, you're probably going to go through close to 100 a year.
Yeah. But while we were fishing, so we went backwards and forwards from the esky, they just went into our live bait well.
Yep.
And transfer them over to the esky now to keep them nice and fresh. And once they're home, we'll cryovac and freeze.
3. And keep the tally.
Yep. So final count for now was 22 garfish.
Great start.
But right now we're just going to throw them into these Ziploc bags and into the esky.